stow it. So we are going to enter and then quickly come back into the
And we see the motion.
Moscow, this is Kazbeki. How do you read us? Yes, we read you. We can see the hatch moving. Yes, we are coming out. Copy that. Proceed, please.
Ребят, просьба потом не затягивать репортажи, потому что у нас время ограничено, и потом быстренько нужно в СМ переходить.
And there we see hatch open. Hatch coming open at 8:20 a.m. Central Time, 13:20 GMT. The station flying 270 statute miles over the South Pacific. Oleg Novitsky first through the door. Pyotr Dubrov making his first flight into space. And then last but certainly not least, we'll get it there. We see Mark Vande Hei making his second flight, his second long duration stay on board the International Space Station. And then with that, all three crew members through the hatch, all three crew members now on board the station. Expedition 64 at 10 people strong.
Moscow, this is Kazbeki. Yes, go ahead. Just to be clear, we need to return to the Soyuz now for a little while, or go to the service module. Well, please get back to the Soyuz and then make an entrance for show.
Ну все, мы сейчас отключаем НДФ и переходим на станцию. То есть повтор ничего не делаем.
Just deactivate the COM, MBS COM, and then get back into the station.
Да, дубль слепу и НДФ. Ну, соответственно...
And that's all we have to do. And then, of course, you have to deactivate the purification unit and so on. So right now we deactivate the COM and proceed to the service module. Is it correct? Yes, this is correct. Okay, now we copy. And we'll do. And also the cartridge, regeneration cartridge. And then we will take our leave of you, Kazbeki. Yes, Moscow. Thank you for your support during our flight. Yes, and we wish you all the best, Kazbeki. This is it. Okay, Pyotr, I will be right there. You go ahead.
A big smile from Pyotr as he makes his way, getting his taste of microgravity for the very first time. Just behind him, Mark Vande Hei making his way out of the Rossviet module. Back inside the Soyuz commander Oleg Novitsky doing some final configuration, shutting down the communication in the Soyuz spacecraft, as they'll now be using station assets to converse with the ground. And shortly he'll make his way out, and we'll see the crew gather in the Russian service module for a quick hello with the ground.
We have your video back. We are ready, Moscow.
сейчас буквально 1 минуту и все будет.
Just loud and clear.
Попробуйте установить связь с Байконуром, сказать что-нибудь.
Could you try talking to Baikonur, please? Because it looks like everything is patched in. Baikonur, this is ISS.
Байконур, МКС, канале СГ-1.
Baikonur, this is ISS on Space to Ground 1. The Moscow station. We did not receive a reply from Baikonur. We copy.
Сереж, хорошо. Когда с Байконуром сейчас связи не будет, мы сейчас коммутируем все на балкон.
Okay, then we will not include Baikonur. We will just patch it to here.
All right, and with that, the welcome ceremony has concluded. We are officially at 10 people on board the International Space Station. The crew of Expedition 64 are going to stick like this until 3 crew members get ready to depart next week. But for the next 10 days, it'll be a lot of work ahead, getting 3 new crew members situated, getting 3 ready to come home. A lot of people ask us, where's everybody going to sleep? We have 7 permanent crew quarters now on board the space station. The remaining 3 will find temporary camp-out spots, as we call them, areas inside the modules where they can set up sleeping bags and have a temporary location, and they'll work with ground controllers to figure all that out. But a very successful day today. Just to recap, we had an on-time launch at 2:42 a.m. Central Time, 7:42 GMT. An on-time early docking, actually, at 6:05 a.m. Central, 11:05 GMT, 2 minutes early. And we're able to get the hatches open at 8:20 a.m., 13:20 GMT, 10 crew members on board for Expedition 64. That is going to do it for our live coverage. And right at 35 seconds, the first umbilical tower separating the vehicle on internal power. We'll have auto sequence start. So the ground propellant feed to the rocket has now completely terminated.
Auto sequence initiated.
Second umbilical separated, 15 seconds from launch.
Launch command for ignition.
Предварительно.
Second umbilical tower separates.
Промежуточно.
And we see booster ignition.
Engines at maximum thrust.
And liftoff. Soyuz MS-18 on its way to the International Space Station.
10 seconds, the booster parameters are nominal. Everything is good on board.
Hearing nominal performance, the first stage delivering 930,000 pounds of thrust from those 4 first stage boosters and the single core engine.
30 seconds into the flight, the parameters of the booster are nominal. Everything is fine on board. 40 seconds, the vehicle is stable. Everything is good on board.
Continuing to hear good performance calls. A quick look inside the capsule. You can see the crew strapped in and monitoring displays as they continue on their way uphill. Just past the 1 minute mark into flight.
Pitch, yaw, and roll are nominal. 70 seconds into the flight. Everything is nominal. We are good on board.
At this point, the space station has already flown over the Baikonur Cosmodrome and now making its way in front of the Soyuz spacecraft.
The crew is feeling well.
Roughly 90 seconds into flight, the Soyuz rocket already moving more than 2,100 miles per hour, already about 10 miles downrange.
Seconds into the flight, all parameters of the booster are nominal. The crew is feeling well at 10 44 unintelligible.
Параметры кожевания. Какие сообщения?
Okay, you received the message about the casual parameters. Copy.
And right on time, we see first stage separation, the Koryoff cross, those 4 strap-on boosters separating. Now the single core stage continuing to power the Soyuz spacecraft into flight.
Copy.
Just before that, the launch escape tower was also jettisoned. Soyuz does maintain escape capability all the way to flight, though, at this stage able to use for a short time small boosters on the shroud itself, and then once the shroud detaches, able to use boosters on the spacecraft.
So the shroud jettison is confirmed. We have controlled descent.
And so we heard confirmation the launch shroud has jettisoned. In this animation, you can see the Soyuz spacecraft now exposed, continuing under the power of the second stage.
180 seconds into the flight, vehicle stabilization is performing nominally and the crew is feeling well. Copy.
Second stage is going to continue to fire until 4 minutes and 37 seconds into flight, so about another minute and 20 seconds.
The second stage thrusters are functioning nominally. Everything is good on board.
Getting some views from the spacecraft itself as it continues downrange.
230 seconds. Vehicle stabilization is performing nominally. Everything is good on board.
At this point, the vehicle's already accelerated to just about 6,400 miles per hour, about 172 miles downrange from the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
250 seconds into the flight. Pitch, yaw and roll are nominal. Everything is good on board.
The pitch, yaw, and roll calls relating to the attitude or which way the vehicle is pointing. Hearing nominal is what we want to continue to hear on the way uphill. Everything continuing to perform normally with the Soyuz spacecraft and the rocket. 4 minutes and 40 seconds into flight.
Second stage separation is confirmed. We had Geta 2.
And so we heard good confirmation. Second stage is shut down and separated. You saw a piece fly off there. That was the lower skirt of the third stage. That was jettisoned right on time as it was supposed to.
Stabilization is performing nominally and everything is good on board.
Soyuz now being propelled by the single engine of the third stage, providing about 67,000 pounds of thrust. This is going to continue to burn for about 4 minutes. It's going to shut down at 8 minutes and 46 seconds into flight.
Into the flight, the third stage is functioning nominally. Everything is good on board. Copy, Kazbek. 350 seconds into the flight. Everything is nominal. Everything is good on board.
$380.
380 seconds into the flight. Third stage thrusters are functioning nominally. The crew are feeling well. Copy, Kazbek.
$400.
400 seconds into the flight, the vehicle is stable. Everything is good on board.
Now just about 2 minutes left, a little under 2 minutes of power on the third stage. Once it shuts down and separates just a few seconds later, the Soyuz spacecraft will be flying free, and a series of pre-programmed commands will execute, deploying a number of the appendages, the antennas, and the solar arrays needed to power the spacecraft on its way to the station. And a number of antennas will also deploy for communications and tracking, including those that will be responsible for communicating with the station as the Soyuz makes its automated rendezvous and docking. 7.5 minutes since launch. We have about a minute 20, a minute 30 left until the third stage has done its job and will shut down and separate.
$470.
470 seconds. Third stage thrusters are functioning nominally.
Now in the final minute of powered flight for the Soyuz 2.1A booster. Coming up soon, we'll see third stage shutdown and separation.
490 seconds into the flight. Vehicle stabilization is performing nominally and everything is good on board.
We'll look to confirm good orbital insertion, essentially confirming that the spacecraft is in the intended altitude, in the intended orbit.
We are ready.
And now standing by for third stage separation, shutdown and separation.
520 seconds into the flight. Казбеки, orbit insertion is confirmed. Our congratulations, and now Moscow, MCC Moscow will talk to you. Казбеки, Moscow. Казбеки, Moscow.
And so we saw a good shutdown and separation of the third stage. Solar array has deployed, standing by for confirmation that all antennas have deployed.
Казбеки, ЦУПа Москвы.
Казбеки, Moscow, how copy?
Казбеки, ЦУПа Москвы, как нас слышно?
Казбеки, MCC Moscow. It is Kazbek 2. I am ready to provide the data as per page 36. Kazbeki, how was the insertion? Moscow, how did you copy? I copy you loud and clear. Kazbek, how do you copy us? We copy you 5 by 5.
As they bring you into what it's like to live and work every single day in space on those social media accounts. So pretty.
Дальность 300, скорость 0,67.
The range is 300 meters, and the range rate, closing rate, is minus 0.6 meters per second. We can see this station. It's right in the middle of the crosshairs. Copy.
13:48 отключение ДПО.
So the cutoff of DPO at the unintelligible time. Copy. Control 15. Copy.
Дальность 270, скорость 0,53 на сближение.
So the range is 270, and the closing rate is 0.53 minus 0.53. Every
25 meters and closing.
SSVPGT is confirmed, range is 20 and range rate 0.09. The docking target is in the center, crosshairs are aligned. The target is below the crosshairs by 1 degree. Copy. Range is 15. Range rate 0.01. This is the closing rate.
Марк, по касанию запустишь секундомер?
Mark, could you please start the stopwatch? Copy.
Мишень, центр.
Target is in the center, crosshairs aligned.
The Soyuz just starting to edge behind the Northrop Grumman Cygnus vehicle. It's just about 12 meters away, so closing in on that docking port.
Crosshairs are aligned. And the docking target is below the crosshairs by 1 degree.
You can see the docking cone just going out of the top of your view from here. This is the docking camera on the Soyuz. Again, it's headed for that docking target now, just about right in the center of your screen, the circle with the cross.
Очень большое согласование крестов по курсу, не больше ширины луча, примерно половина луча.
There is a small misalignment.
And we will stand by for contact and docking.
Size of the line of sight, copy. Range is 3. The docking target is in the center. The crosshairs are aligned.
Так ожидаем.
Standing by for contact.
Подвод, касание, механ-1, сцепка.
Contact confirmed at 140506. Mechanical link established.
Есть индикатор.
At 7.
Contact and capture coming at 6:05 a.m. Central, 11:05 GMT. While stationed in Soyuz flew 262 statute miles over northern China. Again, the Soyuz docked 6:05 a.m. Central, 11:05 GMT.
Control panel, copy.
At this point, the station has been put into free drift, disabling thrusters, allowing relative motion to dampen out between the vehicles. Soon, the docking probe will retract. We'll see the Soyuz spacecraft start to inch a little bit closer, and it'll pull it in close to the docking cone, and that will then set the vehicle up to enable a series of hooks and then power and data connections to establish a link up between the Soyuz and the International Space Station.
Suspects Moscow, go ahead.
Повторите еще раз, что отключить?
Please say again, we did not copy. What should we deactivate?
Труп Москвы к Казбеку.
Moscow, this is Kazbeks.
Как нас слышите?
How do you read us, Kazbeks?
Вы Казбеку, как принимаете?
Moscow, Kazbeks, how do you read us?
Повторите последнее указание.
Please repeat your last. We didn't copy.
Так, команда от ТВ выдана.
Command has been sent to deactivate the TV system, and we're on page 50, unintelligible.
Так, R7.
R7.
Отключаем. Все.
Так, записал параметры давления 120.
Parameters have been recorded, and parameters inaudible.
Закрываем РПВ-1.
Mark, please close RPV-1. Airflow regulator 1.
Как нас слышите?
Закрыл.
Kazbek, this is Moscow. How do you read us?
Хорошо, закрыли. Стали.
Loud and clear. We have closed inaudible.
Работа по странице 57.
We're on page 57.
Хорошо, ждем от вас первый замер.
And we're standing by for the first measurement
14:08:23.
at 14:08:23. Please repeat. You're breaking up.
Это же опять, да. Давление в СА по ману.
SA pressure on pressure gauge is inaudible. 778.
778.
778.
86. Подтверждаю.
SA
778 по МК. На инпу давление
778.
86.
Input pressure indication shows 786. Copy. BO pressure.
Подтверждаю. Давление в
Yes, affirmative. BO pressure 8. Inaudible.
Давление в БО повторите, пожалуйста.
Please repeat BO pressure.
БО. Давление в БО, бытовой отсек 8,2.
822. Orbital module pressure is 822. Copy.
Давление в отсеке 872.
872. This is the instrumentation compartment pressure.
872.
Copy. Instrumentation module pressure 872.
Подтверждаю.
Affirmative.
Это было на время 14.
And that was at 14:09 approximately.
Что было?
What was at that time? I didn't copy.
And so at this moment, the crew on board the Soyuz giving some initial pressure readings inside the spacecraft. Meanwhile, we're waiting for confirmation of all the hooks to close. We have had confirmation that the docking probe is retracted. As we can see, the Soyuz has moved a little bit closer to that docking port. At this point, the Soyuz hooks have closed.
How are you feeling, Oleg? How is the crew doing?
Самочувствие замечательное.
The crew is doing just fine.
Очень устойчиво, очень.
The vehicle was very reliable. Everything was very reliable and stable. On behalf of the State Commission, we would like to extend our congratulations. Congratulations to Oleg, to Mark, on the successful flight. He is in the short rendezvous profile.
And there we see the Expedition 64 commander, Sergei Ryzhikov, moving inside of the Rassvet module. Getting the hatch handle out and ready to start working on the interior hatch inside the station. Again, we're going to see two hatches open. First is one inside the station, and then one at the very top of the Soyuz, where the MS-18 crew is still inside. They're out of their suits, and they're just about done doing all of the pressure equalization checks. Pretty soon, we should get these hatches open.
Это максимум. Если переместить камеру.
Хорошо, ладно, тогда оставляем так.
And one hatch down, one more to go. And so with that hatch open, you can see the metal part of the docking cone. And we're now going to be looking straight at the very top of the Soyuz. So this is what was exposed to outer space just hours ago.
Kazbeki, this is Moscow. The station hatch is open.
Я понял.
Now you may proceed. We copy.
Так, открываем ККТ.
Opening the KKT valve.
ККТ открыт.
It is open. Copy. Now opening the KVD, the pressure equalization valve.
КВД открыт.
KVD valve is open. Copy. Let's continue. We can see the pressure drop slightly per vacuum gauge.
Давайте нам надо вам передать рекомендации по выполнению консервации.
We have to voice up some recommendations to you. And this is Orbital Flight book.
Я могу поменять на аккумулятор на свежий непосредственно перед репортажем.
Recommendations for Soyuz deactivation. Yes, we are ready. Soyuz deactivation per pages 25 to 38.
По пункту 4.
Полет 25-38.
Да.
25 and 38 pages and step 4.
Да, пункт 4.
Yes, step 4.
Принял страницу 25-38, пункт 4. Есть.
Copy, page 25, step 4.
Не консервировать.
Gas analyzer, do not activate it. And per page 36
Книга «Орбитальный полет».
of Orbital Flight book.
Сейчас, секунду.
Stand by, please.
Хорошо.
Copy.
Страница 36, пункт 4.
Page 36, step 4.5. Do not perform.
Понятно.
Stand by, please. We had some audible signal, so we did not copy anything.
Пункт 4.5.
Step 4.5 on page 36.
Страница 36.
On page 36. Do not perform it.
Этот пункт не выполняем.
Do not perform this step. I copy.
Пропускаем.
Yes, we skip this step.
Замену патрона в спускаемом аппарате.
You have to change the cartridge in SA.
Это страница 3.
Replace T1 with T3. And this is page 35.
Пункт 4.3. С нами, с балкона.
Step 4.3.
Да, принято.
Принял. Первый на ответе. Меняем высоту. Страница 35, пункт 4.3.
Replace number 1 cartridge with number 3.
Надо будет еще перенести из
I copy.
в бытовой отсек.
And also You have to
2М в оранжевой сумке.
take a 2M filter in an orange bag. You have to transfer it from MRM1.
Давайте пусть будет.
And I can give you a barcode 000 710
81
81
английская.
and the English letter R.
Понял, 3061.
000 61081R.
7108.
7108
1Р.
1R.
7, принял. 71.
Okay, 71081.
А также
And again, at this moment, the hatch on the station side is open. We're just waiting for some final pressure equalization before we can get the hatch open on the Soyuz side. All that really means is we're trying to get the pressure inside the station and inside the Soyuz as close as possible. A pressure too high inside the Soyuz could make opening the hatch pretty difficult, and a pressure too high on the side of the station could make that hatch open a little bit too quickly. So we just want to make sure it's as equal as possible, just facilitate a nice safe opening of that hatch. And then we'll see these 3 new crew members make their way onto the International Space Station, join Expedition 64.
в случае пожара отключить вентилятор.
And also in case of fire, you have to stop the fan and do not install BO2 unit.
В случае пожара отключить вентилятор.
So again, in case of fire in BO,
Понял.
do not activate the fan. Repeating. I copy.
And the crew just reciting a couple of emergency procedures should they be required. But for now, they're just continuing with the normal leak checks, or with the normal pressure equalization.
Please report the pressure status.
Да, по молоку.
Did it stop dropping? Yes.
748.
We now have 748 millimeters per vacuum gauge. Copy.
Пока стабильно.
And so far the pressure remains stable. Copy. It needs to remain stable for 2 minutes, and then we may proceed.
Понял, но наблюдается небольшое еще падение.
We copy, but we still see a small pressure drop.
Ждать пока.
So let us stand by for a little longer. Copy.
Так, ну, соответственно, открытие ОПЛ будем выполнять по странице 7.
Hatch opening is per page 71.
And so the crew inside the Soyuz continuing to radio down pressure readings. They're waiting for the pressure to stop dropping, and then at that point, they'll go into about a 2-minute wait just to make sure that the pressure has indeed stopped changing. Oftentimes with things like this, you have to wait for things to stabilize, ensure that something like temperature changes aren't playing a role in the changing pressure. So just letting things kind of sit for a few minutes, let you confirm everything, and then once everything's determined to be in a good spot, we'll be able to proceed with the hatch open.
Release it, stow it. So we are going to enter and then quickly come back into the
And we see the motion.
Moscow, this is Kazbeki. How do you read us? Yes, we read you. We can see the hatch moving. Yes, we are coming out. Copy that. Proceed, please.
Ребят, просьба потом не затягивать репортажи, потому что у нас время ограничено, и потом быстренько нужно в СМ переходить.
And there we see hatch open. Hatch coming open at 8:20 a.m. Central Time, 13:20 GMT. The station flying 270 statute miles over the South Pacific. Oleg Novitsky first through the door, the Soyuz commander, making his third trip to the International Space Station. Just behind him, the newcomer, the rookie amongst them, Pyotr Dubrov, making his first flight into space. And then last but certainly not least, we'll get it there. We see Mark Vande Hei making his second flight, his second long-duration stay on board the International Space Station. And with that, all three crew members through the hatch, all three crew members now on board the station. Expedition 64 at 10 people strong.
Moscow, this is Kazbeki. Yes, go ahead. Just to be clear, we need to return to the Soyuz now for a little while, or go to the service module. Well, please get back to the Soyuz and then make an entrance for show.
Ну все, мы сейчас отключаем МДФ и переходим на станцию. То есть повторно ничего не делаем.
Just deactivate the COM, MBS COM, and then get back into the station.
Да, дубль слепой и МДФ. Ну, соответственно...
And that's all we have to do. And then, of course, you have to deactivate the purification unit and so on. So right now we deactivate the COM and proceed to the service module. Is it correct? Yes, this is correct. Okay, now we copy. And we'll do. And also the cartridge, regeneration cartridge. And then we will take our leave of you, Kazbeki. Yes, Moscow. Thank you for your support during our flight. Yes, and we wish you all the best, Kazbeki. This is it. Okay, Pyotr, I will be right there. You go ahead.
A big smile from Pyotr as he makes his way, getting his taste of microgravity for the very first time. Just behind him, Mark Vande Hei making his way out of the Rossviet module. Back inside the Soyuz commander Oleg Novitsky doing some final configuration, shutting down the communication in the Soyuz spacecraft, as they'll now be using station assets to converse with the ground. And shortly he'll make his way out, and we'll see the crew gather in the Russian service module for a quick hello with the ground.
We have your video back. We are ready, Moscow. Just loud and clear. Could you try talking to Baikonur, please? Because it looks like everything is patched in. Baikonur, this is ISS.
Байконур, МКС в канале СГ-1.
Baikonur, this is ISS on space to ground 1.
Тут Москва, МКС.
The Moscow station. We did not receive a reply from Baikonur.